What's going on, everybody? I am back with another Prizepicks NBA player props video. We got a Flex Friday, and we have a beautiful slate. Going to be giving you guys a 6-pick flex for this one for free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gamer tonight. So it is a beautiful slate. I've been absolutely dialed on the back end research today. It's been a big launch over in the VIP. We've been playing all platforms now. I've been working really hard to get that up and going. So the research across all apps has been just nonstop on my end. Going to be giving you guys 6 fantasy score props in this one because the non-fantasy score props, for those of you that don't know, these apps have just become absurdly good at bumping them so quick and taking the value away. But the fantasy score props, I'm able to promote them to you guys, and everyone should be able to tell. So that is why I do it the way that I do, as far as providing you guys a lot of fantasy score props on the channel. If you're looking to get access to every single one of my picks, all of my tickets, as soon as I place them, guys, the VIP member package is going to be where it's at. That's going to be linked below in the description. If you're listening to the content every day, you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. If you're playing Prizepicks or these player props apps every single day, join as soon as possible, man. I have never been more confident in saying that the value for the price tag of this package I'm offering is just through the roof. I've already got so many tickets in place today on all these apps. Prizepicks, Underdog Fantasy, Better, Sleeper, Parlay Play. If you have an app you really like, you prefer, you can just tail that one app in my VIP member package. But the nonstop hunt for value and just seeing the props at the numbers that I'm getting them at on all the apps is just going to provide you so much value on a daily basis. It's absurd over there. So would love to have you join if you're interested. Great community, not only myself, my own picks, but the community's just fantastic. It's better than it's ever been. So check that out if you're really interested. And if you enjoy the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload, guys. It is free. It takes 2 seconds to do. It does really help me out. We're right on the verge of 20,000. We should hit that today. There's thousands of people watching this video. If you're enjoying, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds to do, guys. And about 60% of the people that watched the video last time out weren't subscribed. So help me out with that. Let's do it. And I'm going to be helping you guys out with these videos for free all NBA season long. Let's get into it. Let's get into the breakdown here, the important stuff, what you came for, the picks. And we'll go game by game, as we always do. And it's going to be a not so fun slip the tail for some of you that you don't like taking the unders, but we'll explain why, guys. These prop apps are really good at setting these lines, right? So the edge is going to be minimal at times, but you have to get all the edge that you can get. And I think I got some edge in these props tonight. So first game that we're going to talk about is going to be the first game on the slate. The Sacramento Kings taking on the 76ers. This game comes in with a 241.5 over-under. It is a 1.5 point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. This game's expected to fly. There's going to be a lot of points. However, I think Prizepicks has adjusted the lines accordingly for that type of a game environment and inflated them up quite a bit. So we're still going to be talking about some unders in this one. We'll start with De'Aaron Fox. Looking at his fantasy point per minute production on the season, he's putting up 1.29 fantasy points per minute. That's a little bit over 1 point per minute. He's playing right in the mid-30s. We look at the minutes that he's playing per game. He's been playing in the low 30s as of late. Was playing in the upper 30s for quite some time there. Now, keep in mind, they have been involved in quite a few blowouts here the last 3 times out. Only 28, 33, 26 minutes. All these games were blowouts, so I will say that. But he's been more so towards the mid-30s. Last time we saw him play 40-plus was against Orlando on the 3rd. So I'm anticipating, as far as my projections and everything, of how many minutes that De'Aaron Fox is going to play in this one tonight. Got him right around 36. So in the upper 30s on average, right? We're looking at law of averages, how much these guys are going to play. So he's going to be in the upper 30s, and based on his fantasy point per minute production and where Prizepicks has him priced at, he is set too high. Once again, this game environment's absurd. I know that the total's really high. Fox actually got bumped up earlier in the day. He was at 42.5, I believe. He's now up to 43. He has not cleared this in each of the last 5 games. He really hasn't been playing the best basketball. And like I said, it's just a matter of where he's priced. I've got him going out there and having a decent game. Like, don't get me wrong. We talked about that total and everything. I've got him getting in the upper 30s, but they have him priced in the mid 40s. It's too high. Philly's only giving up right around like 28 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. They're only giving up right around 5 assists a game. They're only giving up right around 5 field goals per game. So not only is Fox priced too high, but it's really not a great matchup at all for him with how good the Sixers have been doing at slowing down opposing point guards. So I know this 241.5 total looks juicy, and it is, guys, but you have to keep in mind, like, Prizepicks is adjusting the lines for that. You can't just look at it and be like, this is going to be a fast game. Could he go over? Absolutely. His ceiling is 50 plus. So if Fox decides to go out there and just go off in this game, we're just going to have to wear it on the chin and take our loss. But the edge is on the under here for me tonight. For pick number 1, just keep in mind, guys, we have a base projection, and then we have a ceiling if the guy really has a great game, and then we have a floor. So we're targeting his under. His floor is all the way down in the 20s. Fox is a very up and down guy. He can get up in the 50s. He can get down in the 20s. It's not a good matchup for him. The line's too high, in my opinion. I could certainly see him ending with like 41 fantasy points and having a pretty decent game. But if he ends with 41, he's still hitting the under here. So you get the point. These are the decisions we have to make on the Prizepicks board. They're very good at setting the line. So our unders and overs and where I have these guys projected aren't going to be way off. In a perfect world, Prizepicks would be terrible at setting these lines, and Fox would be, his fantasy score would be set at 60, and we could just take the under. That's not how it works, but you get the point here. So that'll be pick number 1, and then pick number 2 is going to be another one that's probably going to surprise people. I'm on a lot of his unders tonight and other props as well. It's going to be Tyrese Maxey. Once again, great game environment, has been playing really well. Joel Embiid's out. I already know the top comment I'm going to get is, why are we taking Maxey's under? Joel Embiid's out. I'm well aware of that. If I didn't know basic injury news and what's going on in the NBA, or just basic injury news in any of the sports that I cover on the channel, I shouldn't have any subscribers. Like, that's basic level stuff. I'm aware of the injury report. I have every single alert on under the sun on my end every day. I get alerted about this stuff right away. Now, Tyrese Maxey usage with Joel Embiid off the floor, 28% to him, 26% to Tobias Harris, 24% to DeAnthony Mountain. We look at the fantasy point per minute production with Joel Embiid off the court. Once again, Tyrese Maxey's usage is going up a lot. I understand that. 5.7 usage differential, but we look at his fantasy point per minute production. He's putting up 1.28 fantasy points per minute in the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format over a 587-minute sample size with no Joel Embiid. That's going up a little bit on the season. His season numbers are sitting at 1.16 fantasy points per minute. So he's going from 1.16 up to 1.28. He's going up, but not as much as I think some people think here, all right? It's not a drastic difference. It's like a tenth of a fantasy point per minute. You look at his minutes per game on the season, he's going to play right around 40 minutes. So that's going to put him probably, right in the mid-40s on average in the fantasy scoring department with no Joel Embiid. Prizepicks hasn't priced up all the way in the upper 40s here tonight. We look at where he's priced here on Prizepicks. They have him set at 48.5. He has cleared this in each of the last 3 games with no Joel Embiid. Just went out there and put up 67 last time against Atlanta. I get it. It's not fun taking an under here. His usage is going to be through the roof. He's still going to, have the ball in his hands a ton in this one, and the game environment's really good. But the edge is on the under here for me. Once again, it's not the greatest matchup for him taking on a Philly team that's done a pretty good job of slowing down point guards. I've got him projected in the lower 40s here. He's got a floor out all the way down to right around 30. His ceiling is 50 plus once again, right? So it's not going to be fun, but I think he could have a game where he ends with like 42 fantasy points here tonight, and the line's set at 48.5. So we have to take the edge where we can get it. Once again, I'm giving you guys all fantasy score props, so you should be able to tail instead of getting these bumps on all the non-fantasy score props like crazy where they get bumped immediately. So 2 guys, I know, in a great game environment, 241.5 over under. It's not going to be fun to sweat, but bottom line is edge is on the under. If they want to go over and ruin our night, it is what it is. I know my process. I know what goes into it. I know the edge is on the under. I'm taking it every time in this situation. So, yes, it's a great game environment. Yes, these guys could each go out there and put up 70 fantasy points. They have the capability, but Prizepicks has set their lines up They know this game environment, right? So they're more towards their ceiling. So we're going to go ahead and target the under here for those two. And then the same thing can be said in this next game. Like I said, if you're someone that's not a fan of taking unders, just close your eyes tonight. It is what it is. Trae Young's the next guy, and a 252 over-under. This game environment's ridiculously good. Once again, though, Prizepicks has adjusted his line, and they have adjusted it too high, in my opinion. Trae Young's a guy that's putting up 1.33 fantasy points per minute on the season. He's playing right around 36.6 minutes per game. Lately, he's been playing 40-plus at times, 43, 42, 34. If he plays in the upper 30s, we'll look at the projected minutes here for him. Trae Young, right around 38 I've got him at, right? So that makes sense. He's going to play in the upper 30s. If he does, I do have him getting in the 40s here tonight. Prizepicks has him set in the way upper 40s, though. So it's the same thing we just talked about with Tyrese Maxey. Trae Young does have better fantasy point per minute rates, but his line is set a little bit higher. And once again, they're kind of a similar situation for me tonight. They're going to both play right around 40 minutes. I have them both going out there and getting, in the low to mid 40s. But Prizepicks has inflated their line to the point of where they're forcing me to take the under. The edge is on the under. I have to do it. It's not going to be fun. Not going to be a fun sweat. But last time against Philly, he put up 46.7. Like, that's right where I would have him getting here tonight, most likely. Right? So it's not going to be fun. It's going to be sweaty, but it is what it is. We have to take advantage of the value where it is. Indiana's been doing a fantastic job of slowing down point guards. They're only allowing like 35 points per game, only right around 6 assists per game. And they're only allowing right around 6 field goals to be made against them from the point guard position as well. So I've got Trae Young getting 45 essentially tonight. He's averaging 47.4 over his last 5. His ceiling is massive. His ceiling 60 plus. So yes, he can go over, guys, but we have to take the edge where we can get it. And once again, the edge is on the under here. So 3 not so fun props to be taking in this game environment, these game environments tonight, but we have to do it. You just got to take the value where you can get it. When they inflate these lines and they're too much, you have the base on the under, you've got to take the under. So that'll be the first 3. And then we have 3 from these later games. We're going to talk about my first over here in this game environment. The Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Los Angeles Clippers, a 116.5 implied total for the LA Clippers. They're really starting to look good as a team here, really coming together. Since Russell Westbrook willingly went to the bench, these guys look fantastic together. 116.5 implied total. It seems like they're always going to have a high total, and I really like Paul George in this spot. I think his line's too low on Prizepicks. Paul George's fantasy point per minute production on the season in the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format is, if I can find him here for you guys, I apologize. He doesn't, I think it's because he might be on the later slate here. Paul George. Here he is, 1.16 fantasy points per minute, right below Scotty Barnes. So Paul George putting up like 1.16. Then you look at his minutes, 34.6 minutes per game. He's putting up right around 40 fantasy points per game, and Prizepicks has him set under that. So he's putting up more on average than what Prizepicks has him set at. Then we look at the minutes for Paul George and how this team's breaking down their minutes. He's going to once again play in the upper 30s, 38, 40 minutes per game in competitive games. This game does have an 8.5 point spread. If you have watched my content before, or if you are in my Discord, you've heard me already say this countless times. I do not try to predict blowouts. I would recommend that you don't try to predict blowouts either. There will be games. There's a game here tonight with the Blazers and Minnesota Timberwolves, 16-point spread. Could this game turn into a blowout, and is it expected to? Absolutely. Am I just going to bank on it being a blowout automatically? No. I'm going to use all the database, all of the market value, all of the market data, all of the data in my process, and I'm going to go with the law of averages and all the data that I have going into these picks, okay? I'm not just going to come on the channel and go, I think this game is going to be a blowout. So we're going to guess. That's a valid approach if you want to take a shot, but it's just not personally my approach. Paul George, upper 30s, a guy that's putting up 1.16 fantasy points per minute. If he's going to play that amount of minutes, 38 plus minutes, obviously do the math. He's going to score in the 40s in fantasy points, and I think he does so tonight. And Prizepicks has him only set at 37.5. Fantasy score, this is too low. Has cleared this in 3 of the last 5. We look at how Paul George gets the job done. He's a blocks and steals machine, which we really like, specifically the steals category on Prizepicks. You get 3 fantasy points for every one of those. It's something I talk about a lot when I'm targeting overs. I want a guy to be able to contribute in every category And I want him to be able to get those blocks and steals because you get 3 points for every one of those. Paul George is certainly that guy. 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 29 points last time out. 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 25 points. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 5 steals. This is the kind of upside he has, right? And then the 22 points. So we're not just sitting here preying on blocks and steals, but they're a really nice bonus to go along with his ability to get those points, rebounds, and assists. You can see well-rounded in every single category every time he takes the floor. And I do have him going out there tonight and scoring as far as my latest projection. I know I've got him in the mid-40s in this game. And yeah, so I got him getting like 44. He's averaging 44.6 over the last 5, adds up. And I really do like this spot for him, specifically at where this line's set, right? So that's going to be our first over here for Paul George. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last 2 we'll try to make kind of quick here for you guys so I can get this video out to you. You can lock it in before tip-off here. Next guy is going to be another guy that's a stud player we're taking an under on. He's been very underwhelming this season, and Prizepicks once again has his line set pretty inflated here tonight. It's going to be Stephen Curry. We look at Stephen Curry's fantasy point per minute production on the season. I've been taking his under a lot this year, man, because he just hasn't been producing that high of a rate. 1.19 fantasy points per minute. It's not very good, man. Like we just talked about guys like a De'Aaron Fox and a Trae Young that are putting up 1.3. Steph's supposed to be kind of in the same territory with those guys, talent-wise and production-wise, and he's just not producing at that high of a rate. Multiple things go into that, obviously, the talent around him, how the team's meshing, all that stuff. But bottom line is the rates are the rates. Stephen Curry's line's too high here. And Chicago's been really tough in the point guard position. We look at the minutes per game for Golden State. They ain't been involved in a ton of blowouts lately, man. So, I mean, he's only played 25, 30, 31. Last competitive game was against Denver where he played 35. But even in competitive games, you can see he's only playing like 34 or 35 minutes per game. Where I have him here tonight for his projected minutes is right there, 34 minutes. So, expected to play in the mid-30s. If he plays in the mid-30s, he's putting up a little over 1 fantasy points per minute. I've got him in like the upper 30s for fantasy point production here tonight in this game environment against the Bulls. I do think they do a pretty good job of slowing down Steph as well. He doesn't have the most help around him, so that's been a whole different story, but he's at 41.5. Too high. I've got him getting in the upper 30s here tonight, like I said, so I'm going to go ahead and attack the value on the under. For Stephen Curry, I've got him getting like 37, 38, 39. So as long as he stays in the 30s, once again, we're going to have to sweat it a little bit. It's, in a perfect world, it wouldn't be a sweat. We could just take easy picks, but that's not how Prizepicks works, guys. We know that. So Chicago's only giving up right around 35 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. Really do like the under here for Stephen Curry. So we have under on Fox, under on Maxey. We got the under on Trae Young. Paul George is our first over that we like. Stephen Curry is our next under that we like, I should say. And then last but not least, absolute stud in a great game environment. And the first guy that I'm going to say that I think Prizepicks has priced under, besides Paul George, as far as like being up near the 40 fantasy point mark, it's going to be Lauri Markkanen. This guy is fantastic. We look at his fantasy point per minute production on the season as far as how Lauri is doing here. Lauri Markkanen is putting up 1.25 fantasy points per minute. That leads all power forwards on the slate. This is a very large slate that tops guys like Kawhi Leonard, Zion Williamson, Karl Anthony Towns, Paolo Banchero, Jaren Jackson. He's outperforming them, all those guys, putting up 42 fantasy points per game on the season, playing 32.6. I know he was dealing with an injury for a little bit there, where he was on the shelf. He has come back. He's played 32, 32, and 35 minutes the last 3 times out. Was a guy that was playing up there like 36, 37, 38 minutes. So he's playing in the mid to upper 30s. I do think he's going to get back up to the upper 30s here before we know it. He's been back for quite some time, so it should be kind of back to the regular scheduled program for him. And as far as where the projection is, even have him like right around 33 tonight. So there's upside for more. We know he's going to play in the mid-30s. Regardless, I have him going over. Anything we can take above it, we will. 242, 122.25 implied total for the Jazz. This is a rare game where they're actually favored. It seems like lately they just haven't been favored at all, but they are here tonight. And If Laurie plays his full allotment minutes, that 1.25 fantasy point per minute rate, I do have him getting in the mid 40s tonight, and Prizepicks actually bumped him down. There were two guys in this video that I got a bump in the favor that I would have wanted them to. It was Laurie Markkinen and De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, I like his under, he got bumped up. Laurie Markkinen, I like his over, he got bumped down. Both fantastic, both make me like the plays even more. We will take every piece of edge we can, obviously. I had locked Laurie in at 40 when he first dropped. He got bumped down to 39. I locked him in again because I do have him projected in the mid 40s. Like I said, I've got him right around like 45 here tonight. So great matchup for him. The Raptors have given up a ton of points to opposing power forwards, over 35 fantasy points per game, like every time out, over 6.7 rebounds, 7 rebounds per game. Last time he took on this same Toronto team, I don't really care about this, but it's just a little reference. I don't care about the history in the same matchup. That's, I think, one of the worst things you can look at. There's going to be people out, injuries, everything changes, but he did put up like 55 plus last time he faced them. So, Laurie, absolute stud. Talked about his permanent rates, how he does it. You look at the game logs, man. Great rebounder, 12, 14, and 13 rebounds the last 3 times out. Decent passer for a power forward as well. You can see 5 assists in this game, 1, 2, 2. And then the blocks and steals are going to help us out. That 1 block, 2 steals. And he's really going to contribute in the scoring category, you know, when he has those big games, 26, 21, 33. So Laurie Markkinen, fantastic matchup here tonight to round things out. We're going with the over on him. So we got a lot of unders on studs, but we do have the over on Laurie, the over on Paul George. And that'll be my 6 picks to get you winning some money over on Prizepicks in the NBA tonight, guys. Like I said, all fantasy score props for you because the non-fantasy score props just get bumped like crazy. I do want you guys to actually be able to tail these picks. Quick little review, and then I'll show you that I did send it into my Discord, and I did lock it in myself as always. You can use your Flex Friday promo on this if you so choose. For me, I'm capped at $40 on my 6 minutes now. I'd rather just get my full, you know, as much as I can get down on it. So that's kind of my approach. For me personally, but quick little review, guys. We're going with the under on De'Aaron Fox. Talked about it. Just inflated line. These guys can go way over. All the unders we're taking tonight, but we have to take the value where we can get it. Prizepicks has them set a little bit too high on the base projection aspect and where I've got them tonight. It all starts with Fox going with the under on fantasy score, then Tyrese Maxey under, Trae Young under, Paul George over, Stephen Curry under, and Laurie Markkinen over tonight. Did already send it in to my VIP for the Flex Friday. Here it is for you. These are the lines. None of these have gotten bumped while I'm recording. Hopefully none of them get bumped before I release this. If they do, I can't control that. Sorry, but... And then as far as myself here, just to show you, I did lock it in myself. I do play every single play that I promote on the channel myself, guys, with my own money. Here it is. I would put more if I could on the Prizepicks fantasy on the Prizepicks platform, but I just can't do so anymore. But I can put up to 40, so I'm going to put as much as I can. Under on Fox, under on Tyrese Maxey, under on Trae Young, over on Paul George, under on Stephen Curry, and over on Laurie Markkinen. Those are the lines that I got them at: 43, 48.5, 49, 37.5, 41.5, and 39. As long as there's not any extreme bumps, lock it in, guys. I have these guys all projected, you know, 3, 4, 5 off or whatever, as much edges we're going to get oftentimes on these fantasy score props. So that's why I promote the fantasy score props on the channel, so everyone should be able to tail, lock them in. And let's try to get you a sweep here on this Flex Friday, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on your way out the door. Once again, the premium content, if you want access to every single one of my plays, all my tickets as soon as I place them, all platforms, we got Prizepicks, Underdog Fantasy, Better Picks, Sleeper Picks, Parlay Play. 5 different apps in the package right now. There could be more added any day. But those are the 5 that I promote right now and the 5 that I play on myself. So, would love to have you join. Thanks for tuning in. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks NBA player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.